No way. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. No way. Are you telling me Deshaun Watson could be traded? Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Guys, we will be live Monday, January 11th, 8 o'clock for the Ohio State-Alabama National Championship game. So if you want to tune into that and hang out and watch all the Fields discussion as well as just the head coaching search and all that sort of stuff, make sure you tune into that. But let's talk about today's topic, and I can't believe I'm bringing it up. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me in my head. But could Deshaun Watson be traded? Deshaun Watson is an absolutely phenomenal quarterback. So let's just go through some of this. He's 25 years old. He's definitely a top 5 quarterback in this league. The guy is awesome, absolutely elite. He was ranked number 3 overall by Pro Football Focus with a grade of 92.5. He has gotten better in each one of his 4 seasons as a starter, this year being his best. 70% completion percentage, 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He also adds an additional 444 rushing yards with 3 touchdowns as well. And all of this after he had his best wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins traded away in the offseason. Oh man, Deshaun Watson, you are a freak. To put this in perspective, Deshaun Watson has been in the league for 4 years. 2 of those 4 years would have broken the Jets' all-time passing record in a given season. The Jets' passing record is like just over 4,000 yards, and Deshaun Watson has done that twice. Not to mention, the 33 touchdowns he threw this year would have broken our passing touchdown record. Why is this so, aside from him being a great quarterback, why is it so sort of wonky for Jet fans? We had the opportunity to draft Deshaun Watson back in the 2017 draft, but the Jets had taken Christian Hackenberg in the 2016 draft, and we didn't want to necessarily waste a first-round pick on a franchise quarterback because who knows, maybe Christian Hackenberg could have been it. And we sort of had our eye on the Darnold, Allen, Jackson, Rosen, Baker draft in the 2018 draft. So we passed over Watson, take Jamal Adams. So we could have had him. So now we're looking at possibly trading for him. So that's like a little frustrating there. Not to mention we wind up giving up all these picks to go up and get Sam Darnold. So then we give up picks to go get Deshaun Watson. It's just so wacky and frustrating and exciting and confusing. All right. So, what does this sort of deal entail? Deshaun Watson signed a new contract extension back in September for $156 million in new guaranteed money. That's a lot of money. That is a whole lot of cheddar. Now, Bill O'Brien was fired just 1 month later in October, and the reason this is all sort of starting to come up is because they're looking into this head coaching search. The Texans are in a position that they don't really have a very attractive landing spot. They have no first or second round picks this year, and they have no salary cap space. In fact, they are $17 million over the salary cap, so they can't even sign players in free agency. There's no money for free agents, no cheap assets to add talent to your team to surround Deshaun Watson. So that's one frustrating part of it. Then the next part is that Deshaun Watson was at least sort of implied to have some sort of impact on the head coaching hire. And one head coach that Deshaun Watson really, really wants is Eric Bieniemy. And as of right now, the Houston Texans are the only team of all the teams with open head coaching positions to not request Eric Bieniemy as an interviewee. So I can understand where there could be some turmoil. There's some rumors swirling that Deshaun Watson, if he doesn't, have enough say in the coach or doesn't like the head coaching hire, that he could, in theory, ask for a trade. Oh, man. I just keep coming back to this. Man, oh, God. So would I want Deshaun Watson on the Jets? Hell yes, I would want Deshaun Watson on the Jets. That is not even a question. But what is it going to cost? So there's not really any precedent for a quarterback like this to be traded that I'm aware of. The most recent one was 2009 when Jay Cutler was traded from the Denver Broncos to the Chicago Bears. And in that trade, they got 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Kyle Orton. Now that first pick that they got in the current year draft was the 18th overall pick. So it was 18th overall, Kyle Orton, a third-round pick for that same year, and a first-round pick the following year. Now, Deshaun Watson is definitely better than Jay Cutler, even at that point in Jay Cutler's career. He's definitely better. So I think you can definitely get more value for Watson than what Jay Cutler got. Now that said, does this contract, this $156 million in new money, complicate things? Yes and no. It's weird. So this year, the salary cap is dropping from $200 million down to about $176 million. So a lot of teams that are over the salary cap are going to have to cut a bunch of players to get under the salary cap just to get ready to play. That's all that's going to happen. So there's not a lot of money or teams that are going to have much salary cap space. But the team that's trading for Deshaun Watson is going to be getting a pretty decent deal. And here's why. He signed a $27 million signing bonus when he got his deal. So you take away the signing bonus. That signing bonus is spread across all the years of his contract evenly. So when you trade for him, you're basically taking on a 5-year contract worth $10.5 million next year. Then it goes $35 million, $37 million, $32 million, $32 million. There is an out after year 3 or before year 3, I guess, where he's due a $17 million roster bonus. So if you decide you want to cut him, I guess you could get rid of him at that point. But at 25 years old, and you have this guy under contract for 5 years, less than $35 million a year pretty much, except outside of like year 3, that contract's definitely favorable. I'm all on board for trying to trade for this contract. That $10.5 million number for the 2021 season is huge because that means a lot of teams are going to be able to get in on this sort of bidding war because they don't have to give up that much cap space. Now, what teams would be looking at this? I would say a lot of teams. But what are the Texans looking to try and get out of this? They need assets, they need cap relief, and they need a quarterback then. Because if you trade Deshaun Watson, you're going to need a quarterback. So obviously, in Jets fans' minds, I think the first thing we're talking about is like, okay, are we giving them Sam Darnold or are we giving them the number 2 overall pick? So Sam Darnold doesn't hold enough trade value to, just warrant that. If you're trying to give up Sam, you have to give up Sam plus picks. So maybe you can give up Sam, and is it the number 2 overall pick? I don't know if you do that, or is it, Sam plus multiple first-round picks? Like, what are you going to have to do to make that trade happen? I don't think Sam necessarily comes with the package because that number 2 overall pick is really valuable. So the Texans would have the ability to either trade that number 2 pick for a bunch more assets that they use, Sam Darnold as their quarterback, or they use that number 2 overall pick for like Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, someone like that, to be their quarterback in the future. So if I'm the Jets, what would I give up? Because the Jets have a lot of holes. We have a ton of holes across our roster. And we just got a ton of draft picks for the guy that we selected in place of Deshaun Watson. So, this is another layer of it. It's like, okay, if you asked me before the season, would you give up your first overall pick and Jamal Adams for Deshaun Watson? Yes, absolutely. 100% chance I would do that because I'm getting a top 5 quarterback and I'm giving away a headache of a safety. So I would do that. So in theory, you're saying you would give away your number 2 overall pick plus both Seattle first-round picks. You're giving up 3 first-round picks potentially for Deshaun Watson. But then when you think about it, now you're bringing him into a team that just had to give away all its assets to get him, and now we have to try and surround him with talent. So it's sort of wonky. It's like there's this whole confusion of what you would want to do here. Now, it depends what you want to do, because if the teams that are looking at trading for Deshaun Watson, there's going to be a bunch of them, but I'm looking at like Atlanta because they have the number 4 pick and they have, the ability to be in the NFC, so they're trading him out of conference. That's a huge deal. Kind of close to Clemson, I guess. I think he would enjoy going there to that team. They have their own salary cap issues right now. Not that it's like a huge deal for this year, but it would still be an issue where they have to give away a bunch of stuff. The Dolphins, for me, I think look like a fantastic situation. And honestly, when I'm sitting here as a Jet fan, you have the Patriots and you have the Dolphins that both need quarterbacks. They can both be in on this trade. So there's an argument, should the Jets even be in on this trade to prevent him from going to another division rival? Like, that's sort of where we're at here. But Miami's in a very interesting spot. The one that owns their number 3 overall pick. That was the pick they got in the Tunsil trade when they sent him to Houston. Like, that's like poetic justice almost. Like, they're going to wind up in a really good spot. If they wanted to trade, could the Dolphins trade both first-round picks? They have 2 first-round picks this year. And Tua. Because now, if you're Houston, you're getting 2 first-round picks. You already have a quarterback on a young, cheap rookie deal for the next 3 or 4 years, depending on how he plays. That's exciting. If I were Miami, I would be 100% on board with trying to get Deshaun Watson. Because after watching Tua, I'm not 100% sold. Now, maybe you can argue that Houston doesn't want to do that because maybe they're not sold on Tua. I get that. I think the 2 first-round picks are incredibly valuable. So, where we sort of get into like an impasse is if maybe they don't want Tua and maybe they don't want Sam, then is the number 2 pick valuable enough for them to consider swapping it? Because they are basically just getting a brand new rookie quarterback right on the spot. Now, you'd have to give up more than that because I think a known quantity in Deshaun Watson is so valuable. So for me, I'm giving up number 2. I'm giving up Sam Darnold, and I would give up the Seattle pick. I would give up 2 firsts and Sam, I think, to get Deshaun Watson. Or, you know, it really depends. That Miami's such like a confusing entity here because I don't want to see Deshaun Watson in our division, and I don't want to give up a ton of picks to go out and get him. But I also like the idea of getting a franchise quarterback. We've been looking for one for like 50 years. So, like, what are we doing? Like, I like Justin Fields. I like Zach Wilson. I like the idea of drafting a quarterback. But statistically speaking, it is not a given thing. If you can get the franchise quarterback and a known quantity in Deshaun Watson, you got to go out and do it. I would 100% before this. We got the salary cap space. We're going to get a new head coach. Jet fans, what are you thinking? What is this worth? I can't even believe this is a topic. Sorry. I'm getting worked up now. Let me know what you guys think down below. What is Deshaun Watson worth? What should the Jets give up if they wanted to get him? Should the Jets give up anything to get him? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, go Jets. J-E-T-S